What did Princess Diana really think about King Charles? From the outside, their royal life seemed like a perfect fairy tale, but behind closed doors, it was far from it. In her own words, Diana revealed some shocking truths about her ex-husband that rocked the royal family to its core. From heartfelt interviews to personal letters, Diana's confessions shed light on the hidden struggles she faced. In today's video, we'll count down 12 of the most shocking things Diana ever said about King Charles, and some of these will leave you speechless. Get ready, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see the royal family forever. Number 1. Tampon Gate Scandal. In 1993, the British tabloids published transcripts of an intimate 1989 phone conversation between Charles and Camilla, a scandal that became known as Tampon Gate or Camilla Gate. While Diana didn't reveal this information herself, her previous disclosures about Charles' infidelity made the public impact of this scandal even more significant. In the conversation, Charles expressed a bizarre desire to live inside Camilla's trousers, joking that he could be reincarnated as a tampon to do so. For Diana, the release of these tapes was profoundly humiliating. She felt it mocked her marriage and undermined her role as the mother of future kings. This scandal also validated her earlier claims about Charles's long-standing affair with Camilla, turning public opinion further in her favor. The Tampon Gate revelation didn't just expose Charles's infidelity, it also raised questions about his judgment and suitability as a future monarch. For many, it was a shocking reminder of the personal cost Diana bore due to Charles's indiscretions. This scandal added to the growing public sympathy for Diana, while tarnishing Charles's image as a future king. It highlighted the emotional toll their broken marriage had on Diana and the royal family. Number 2. Lack of love from Charles. Princess Diana made a shocking revelation that shook the world. Charles told her he didn't love her the night before their grand wedding in 1981. According to Diana, Charles said, "I don't love you," which completely shattered her. This heartbreaking confession completely shattered the fairy tale image of their marriage, which was witnessed by a global audience of 750 million people. Diana revealed this painful truth during interviews for Andrew Morton's book, Diana, Her True Story, and it exposed the lack of real affection at the core of their union. Diana described the feeling as though she was walking down the aisle like a lamb to the slaughter, knowing that her soon-to-be husband had no genuine love for her. This wasn't just a personal tragedy for Diana, it raised questions about the royal family's priorities. It seemed that keeping up appearances and producing heirs were more important than the well-being of those involved. Charles' lack of love became a central issue that fueled years of emotional pain and suffering for Diana. It set the stage for the unraveling of their relationship and ultimately led to the collapse of what was once hailed as the wedding of the century. Diana's confession painted a much darker picture of royal life than anyone had ever imagined. Number 3. Suicide attempts. Princess Diana's revelations about her mental health struggles and suicide attempts during her marriage to Charles were both shocking and heartbreaking. One of the most distressing moments came when she admitted to throwing herself down the stairs while pregnant with Prince William in 1982. She was seeking attention from Charles, who, according to her, dismissed her cries for help. This desperate act was her way of crying out for help and attention from her emotionally distant husband. It exposed just how severe the pressures of royal life and her troubled marriage were on her mental well-being. Diana also opened up about other attempts, including self-harm and overdosing on pills, showing just how much pain she was enduring behind closed doors. Her confessions not only humanized her, making the world see that even a princess could feel trapped and hopeless, but they also shined a light on the emotionally stifling environment of the royal family. It seemed that maintaining a stoic image was more important than providing genuine emotional support. Her bravery in discussing these sensitive issues in public was groundbreaking. Diana's openness helped break down the stigma around mental health, showing that even those in privileged positions could suffer silently. Her struggles also revealed Charles' inability, or unwillingness, to provide the emotional care she needed during those dark times. Number 4. Jealousy over Diana's popularity. Diana revealed that Charles struggled with a deep jealousy over her widespread popularity with the public and media. As the people's princess, Diana's charisma, fashion sense, and genuine care for causes like AIDS awareness and landmine victims captivated the world. But this admiration came at a personal cost. Diana shared that Charles often felt overshadowed by her, with his royal duties and charitable efforts often taking a backseat to the media's fascination with her. Diana recounted moments when Charles made cutting remarks, pointing out how crowds gathered for her, not him. Charles was once heard saying, "They've come out to see my wife. They haven't come out to see me," which further illustrated his insecurity. This revelation exposed a troubling dynamic in their relationship. Charles, the future king, felt threatened by his wife's connection with the public, rather than embracing it as a strength for the monarchy. It also shed light on the outdated mindset within the royal family, where a woman's role was expected to support her husband, not surpass him in the public eye. Diana's confession highlighted the insecurities of a prince who, despite his royal status, couldn't help but feel diminished by his wife's genuine bond with the people. This jealousy added yet another layer of strain to their already fragile marriage. Number 5. Camilla's constant presence. Diana's revelations about Camilla Parker Bowles's constant presence in her relationship with Charles were both shocking and heartbreaking. Even on her wedding day, Diana felt overshadowed by Camilla. She revealed that just days before the big day, she discovered a bracelet Charles had made for Camilla, engraved with their secret nicknames Fred and Gladys. This was a crushing blow, but the final straw came during their honeymoon, when Diana noticed Charles wearing cufflinks engraved with intertwined C's, representing both him and Camilla. This revelation exposed the emotional infidelity that had been present from the very beginning of their marriage. Diana famously said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage," a sentiment that struck a chord with millions of people who felt sympathy for her struggles. These admissions didn't just portray Charles as unfaithful, they also cast Camilla in a negative light, as someone who knowingly remained involved in the relationship despite Diana's presence. Diana's honest and vulnerable disclosures sparked a public outcry that would have a lasting impact on both Charles and Camilla's public image. Despite Charles and Camilla's later marriage in 2005, the shadow of this affair has remained a significant aspect of their public narrative. For many, it became a symbol of the emotional pain Diana endured and the betrayal that haunted her marriage. Number 6. Charles' desire for divorce. Princess Diana revealed that Charles had wanted to end their marriage long before their official divorce in 1996. According to Diana, Charles had mentally distanced himself from the relationship years earlier, with signs of regret emerging almost from the start. After the birth of their second son, Prince Harry, in 1984, Charles felt they had fulfilled their royal duty by producing heirs. From that point on, he saw little reason to keep up the facade of a happy marriage. This revelation challenged the public narrative that their separation was a mutual decision. Instead, it painted Diana as someone who fought to keep their marriage alive, even as Charles had already checked out emotionally. Her confession hinted at a more practical and cold approach within the royal family, where marriage seemed to be more about fulfilling dynastic responsibilities than building a loving bond. For Diana, this lack of love and support left her feeling deeply lonely, especially under the constant gaze of the public. The emotional toll of living in a loveless marriage, while maintaining a perfect image for the world, weighed heavily on her, further highlighting the personal struggles she endured behind the scenes. Number 7. Charles's affair with Camilla. What happens when a royal marriage is overshadowed by another woman? For Princess Diana, this wasn't just speculation. She knew exactly what was happening. One of the most shocking moments in Diana's life came when she confronted Charles about his affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. Just 5 years into their marriage, in 1986, Charles rekindled his relationship with Camilla, leaving Diana heartbroken. During a confrontation, Diana famously asked Charles, "Why can't you be faithful to me?" To which he replied, "Well, I refuse to be the only Prince of Wales who never had a mistress." Diana didn't sit quietly. She faced Charles and told him directly, "I know what's going on between you and Camilla." This confession shattered the fairy tale image of the royal couple. It showed the world that their marriage wasn't the perfect story it appeared to be. While Charles continued the affair in secret, the public eventually learned the truth. In a 1994 television interview with Jonathan Dimbleby, Charles admitted to his infidelity, but by then, it was already too late. The damage was irreversible. Diana's courage to speak out about the affair not only brought her public sympathy, but also forced the royal family to face its own issues of loyalty and honesty. Ultimately, this revelation played a key role in the breakdown of their marriage, leading to their divorce in 1996. The affair exposed cracks that could never be repaired. Number 8. Bulimia and mental health struggles. One of the most powerful revelations Diana shared was her battle with bulimia and self-harm, both intensified by Charles's dismissive attitude toward her mental health. Diana explained that her eating disorder was a direct reflection of the struggles in her marriage. It began just a week after their engagement, when Charles made an offhand comment about her being a bit chubby. This casual remark triggered years of binging and purging, with Diana later admitting that she would do this up to 5 times a day. Diana's open discussion about her bulimia helped break the silence and stigma surrounding eating disorders. She also spoke candidly about instances of self-harm, describing how she would cut her arms and legs as a way to cry for help. Yet, perhaps most shocking was her claim that the royal family viewed her bulimia as the root cause of their marital problems, rather than a symptom of her emotional distress. Charles, she said, would often sigh and say, "You're wasting food again," displaying a complete lack of understanding. These confessions not only humanized Diana, but also shed light on the royal family's outdated approach to mental health. It highlighted how little support she received during her time of need, despite the clear signs of her suffering. Number 9. Disappointment over Harry's birth. One of the most heartbreaking revelations Diana shared was Charles's reaction to Prince Harry's birth in 1984. While the public saw the birth as a joyous occasion, Diana disclosed that Charles was actually disappointed because he had hoped for a girl. She recalled his first words after Harry was born. "Oh God, it's a boy," followed by, "And he's even got red hair," a comment that stung deeply. Diana had kept Harry's gender a secret throughout the pregnancy, hoping it would be a pleasant surprise for Charles. But instead of joy, his reaction left her feeling rejected and inadequate. The hurt didn't end there. At Harry's christening, Charles made another cutting remark, saying they were now complete with an heir and a spare. The term heir and a spare has since become infamous, representing the pressure within the royal family to produce not just one, but 2 sons in case something were to happen to the firstborn. This attitude from Charles left Diana feeling even more isolated, as her attempts to please him seemed to fall short. This revelation not only exposed Charles' insensitivity, but also highlighted the immense pressure within the royal family to produce heirs. It hinted at the strained relationship Harry would later have with his father and the expectations placed upon him from birth. Diana's confession painted a picture of a mother heartbroken by the lack of support from her husband. Number 10. Lack of support from the royal family. Diana's revelations about the lack of support she received from the royal family during her most difficult times painted a picture of an emotionally distant and unsympathetic institution. She shared how isolated and misunderstood she felt, with her in-laws treating her mental health struggles and marital issues as embarrassing inconveniences rather than real cries for help. Diana once turned to the Queen for advice about Charles' affair, only to be told, "I don't know what you should do. Charles is hopeless," a response that offered no comfort or solutions. Even Prince Philip, who had initially shown support through letters, eventually sided with Charles, leaving Diana without a strong ally in the family. This lack of genuine care from the royal family only deepened Diana's feelings of loneliness and despair. It became clear that maintaining a perfect public image was prioritized over addressing real human issues, creating a cold environment where compassion was lacking. Diana's confessions highlighted a dysfunctional family dynamic, where tradition and protocol seemed to overshadow personal connections. Ultimately, she was left to navigate her personal crises on her own, without the support system she so desperately needed during those trying times. Number 11. Public embarrassment. Diana's revelations about the public embarrassment she faced due to Charles's infidelity and their troubled marriage were truly heartbreaking. She spoke about the humiliation of watching her husband's affair with Camilla unravel in front of the world, with the media dissecting every detail of their personal struggles. One of the most painful moments came with the release of the Camilla Gate tapes, which featured intimate conversations between Charles and Camilla. Diana admitted that she felt mortified and dehumanized by the scandal. Adding to her pain was the royal family's reaction. Rather than focusing on her emotional well-being, they seemed more concerned with protecting the monarchy's image. Diana's revelations shed light on the harsh reality of royal life, where personal tragedies often become public spectacles. Her honesty about the public embarrassment she endured struck a chord with people worldwide, making them sympathize even more with her situation. Despite the intense humiliation, Diana showed incredible resilience. She continued to carry out her public duties and dedicate herself to charitable causes. Her bravery in speaking openly about these humiliations only endeared her further to the public, who saw her as both a victim of a cheating husband and an uncaring royal system. Number 12. Secret tapes. One of the most shocking moments in Diana and Charles' troubled marriage came when secret recordings of their conversations were leaked to the public. In addition to the infamous Camilla Gate tapes, there were also recordings of conversations between Diana and her close confidants, revealing her deep unhappiness and the deteriorating state of her marriage. These tapes, which revealed the cracks in their relationship, gave the world an inside look at the deep issues they were facing. For Diana, this was an incredibly painful experience, as her private struggles were laid bare for everyone to see and analyze. The recordings captured raw moments of tension and unhappiness between the couple, offering a glimpse into the reality behind the royal facade. The release of these tapes embarrassed the royal family and shifted public sympathy even more toward Diana. People began to see the emotional strain she was under, dealing with a husband who seemed distant and uninterested in fixing their relationship. For Diana, the tapes were another blow in a marriage already strained by infidelity and a lack of support. Despite the humiliation, Diana remained composed in the public eye, continuing to focus on her charitable work. These secret tapes exposed the depth of her emotional suffering, and in turn endeared her further to the public, who admired her resilience and strength in the face of such public betrayal. And there you have it, 12 of the most shocking confessions that forever changed the way we see the royal family. If you found these revelations as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the Royal Corner for more captivating royal stories. Let us know in the comments which confession surprised you the most.